Welcome to Stock Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. Today, we're talking to Christi Cossette from Cossette Empowered Action Coach. Thank you so much for coming, Christi.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Mary. It's happy to be here.
Great. So let's talk about startups have to wear all these different hats, and how do they fit it all in? So where do we start?
Well, so first of all, I would say I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 3 young boys. I'm a corporate executive, and I'm also an author, a speaker, and a coach, as you mentioned. And so I really help my clients to reach peak performance, accomplish their big goals, and develop the mindset they need to be successful. So everything that I mentioned, there's a ton going on in my life. And I would say where you start to fit it all in is you have to plan. So there's 3 big takeaways that I always do in terms of fitting things into my life. You have to plan in advance. You have to build flexibility for the unexpected, and you have to get the help that you need in order to be successful. So I'm happy to go into more detail of all 3 of those, unless you had a follow-up question.
What's your favorite tool for planning?
My favorite tool is my calendar. I plan everything in advance. My husband and I meet the Sunday before the week, and I do everything from the meal plan to, are there any big appointments that are coming up for our children? Who's going to take them to said appointment? Do I have any big meetings coming up? Anything I need to prepare for? And everything that I need to do, I block it in my calendar. It even includes date nights with my husband. It includes a monthly massage for my both mental and physical health, and even our family game nights. I fill it in my calendar. That's my favorite tool.
Right. If you block off spaces in your calendar for yourself, your business, and just really try to make sure you cover it all, that's a great place to start. And then you got to really work on sticking to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say you have to be adaptable as well, though. So, I mean, even throughout my day, I even put reminders in my calendar of simple tasks that I need to do, everything from calling to schedule an appointment to I need to pay a payment on my credit card or whatever the case is. I block all that in. But, you probably noticed that throughout the day, things ebb and flow. It's going to change. And so it doesn't always work the way I want it to. And, a great tip would be to build buffer into your schedule and into your daily life. But I'll confess, I'm not very good at that. With everything going on, I really fill in most of my minutes. And so what that means is I need to be adaptable. So if a new meeting gets added to my calendar or a client really needs to speak to me quickly, I need to move things around. Maybe I need to cancel something. I need to reschedule. And so you just have to be adaptable and be willing to move things around.
It probably helps to plan for something to take more time than you actually expect it to take. That gives you a little buffer time. I noticed when I was scheduling availability in Calendly, it gives you the option of giving yourself 10 minutes before or after an appointment to catch up before they reschedule the next one. So,
I usually try to build in. Yeah, I do that. I add about a 15-minute buffer into my calendar. Because otherwise, back-to-back meetings, you don't even have time for a bathroom break sometimes or to eat. So it's critical that you do that.
Right. So then the other last thing you talked about is making sure you have the right help. And one of the top 10 mistakes startups make is they think they have to do it all themselves. So let's speak to that a bit.
Yeah. So specifically where it relates to my business, I hired my own business coach. She keeps me accountable on days where I don't feel like doing anything, that I have a deadline that I need to meet. And she also gives me encouragement and just helps me feel empowered on, maybe a stressful day or whatnot. So I absolutely encourage coaching. It could, depending on who's listening here, it could be a business coach, it could be a health coach, it could be a mindset or empowered action coach in this case. So definitely get a coach. But even in order to successfully run a business, you also have to successfully manage your daily life. So I also get help in terms of I have 3 young kids, like I mentioned. They're actually in 3 different schools right now. They have 3 different bus schedules, and getting them on and off the bus it's just not something that my husband and I can do without help right now, because we both work full time and I have a business as well. So we have a nanny. Like, actually, it's an au pair who came to us from Ecuador, and she's been with us for a number of years now. She helps get the kids on and off the bus. She helps get with breakfast. And then I also hire a house cleaner that I have come every other week to just help maintain like the big jobs around the house. Of course, we keep it picked up, but you just can't do everything. So my rule of thumb is, if you have something that you hate doing, in my case, it's cleaning. And if you can pay somebody less than what would be, like, if you took your salary or your business income and you divided it, like, pick your number of hours, but let's say it's a standard 40-hour work week, 52 weeks a year. If you take that, divide it by your annual salary divided by your hourly rate, if you can pay somebody less money than it would cost for you to do it, you absolutely should, especially if you don't like it. So I absolutely do that as much as I can. And then
Go ahead.
I was going to say, the last thing I want to mention about getting help is that, specifically for women, we typically tend to do all of the house stuff, and in addition to having working outside the home. And so I think it's really critical that you bring your partner into that. So again, I mentioned earlier on the call, my husband helps with cooking. He helps with cleaning. He helps get the kids where they need to go. So we work together, and he's a true, what I'd say, a partner, helping us to both be successful.
So getting additional help to cover your personal life is really, really important. The other thing that startups need to have access to a lawyer, an accountant, or bookkeeper,
Yes.
and a marketing person, because unless you really love marketing, they're the ones who are going to actually bring you the business. So those are the
Absolutely.
folks that you can't afford to not have help you out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have a virtual assistant. I have an accountant. I have a lawyer in addition to my coach, and I call them my board of directors. So you absolutely need a board of directors in order to be successful as a business owner. Yes.
Right. And if you schedule everybody in your calendar, then you can fit it all in.
So true. You really can.
So thank you so much, Christi Cossette. This is Mary Scott with Business Riff. I want startups to be wildly successful. And one of the best things you can do to accomplish that is book a synergy call with me at businessriff.com. And join us again next time for Stuck, Time to Improv.